if you mess up on this one decision when building your company will crumble. And it comes down to this very simple thing. It's picking either selling the low ticket or high ticket. And if you do not understand what this is, picking one of these and you pick the middle, you will go bankrupt. I'm just telling you that right now. No company ever survives in the middle. Now, what is low ticket versus high ticket? How does this apply to home service companies? What are you talking about? I have no clue what you're talking about. Okay, so low ticket would be like selling very low ticket things like pressure washing. Okay, we have pressure washing, and this is gonna be probably about a $400 average ticket. Okay, now that's super low ticket, and most of the time it's not reoccurring unless you have maintenance plans. Now this is where it becomes better because you have reoccurring revenue. Then another low ticket option would be like we have mowing. Okay, now this is super low ticket, but there's companies that are huge that do this. And like look at Augusta Lawn Care, for example. They do over $75 million per year doing mowing, and it works. It's low ticket. You're dealing with more people. And this is another thing. And the one really good thing about this is it is reoccurring. You're going to have the same money coming in every single month. You literally have an opportunity twice a month to go ahead and try to upsell them on doing other things. But most people that do mowing don't have that figured out. Now, you have to go watch my video on CAC and LTV to be able to learn more about trying to upsell them and everything like that. Now, another example for low ticket would be like doing gutter cleaning. I mean, this kind of goes into power washing, or not gutter cleaning. We'll do like Christmas lights, like low ticket Christmas lights. Okay? This is super low ticket, and it's recurring sort of. It's recurring once a year, so it's not as good as MRR, monthly recurring revenue, but it's a little bit better. But people that do it super cheap and are charging $5 a foot when it costs them $3 a foot in material, you're not making any money. You need to be charging $12 a foot to really be making money and run a really good company. Now, we can compare this and I'm going to go over all the benefits and side effects to doing low ticket. But now high ticket. What are some examples of high ticket services? Like, for example, we have permanent lights. Now, this is a better service for high ticket because you can afford to spend more money to acquire the customer because you have more money to deal with. You're dealing with $5,500 on your average ticket. That's your average job. It's going to be around $5,500 to $6,500 depending on where you're located. Now, there's a lot more money to play with now. We can mess up on our CAC and everything else, but we don't have LTV. We don't have recurring revenue like this. So we're going to get into all the benefits and everything later. But there's an option of high ticket. Then we have like we'll do roofing. Roofing is super high ticket, but there's also no recurring if you don't have your packages set up right. Like your average roof is what, $15K? There's huge companies in that, but it's like that. You have HVAC. Now you're going to have repairs, but you also have like the replacements. Like that's going to be probably around $3K. Okay. This is also an option. This is really good because you have recurring plus high ticket mixed in. Now we have another option would be like doing high-end landscaping. We're going to have high-end landscaping. And then these could be like anywhere. I mean, it depends on what you're doing, but like we could be talking literally 100K plus minimum. Now with these, like I said, there's so many more benefits to doing high ticket compared to low ticket and vice versa. But with this, you're dealing with less people as well because they're more extensive jobs. So these are some examples of some of the different services. Now let's go into the benefits and downsides to each of these different categories. So for low ticket, your benefit is going to be that it's easier to close. It just is. It always will be easier to close. Okay, your close rate is going to be higher. Now, compared to high ticket, where your close rate is typically going to be lower if you don't know what you're doing, because you're dealing with serious money now. You actually got to know what you're doing. So your close rate might be lower, but if you figure it out now, if you get better at sales, you're not going to have that problem. Now, the next thing with low ticket is here. These are going to be the downsides. So these are major downsides. Okay. So another downside with doing low ticket is that you're dealing with more clients, okay? Unlike your high ticket where you're dealing with less people, low ticket, you're dealing with so many clients, and that makes it so much more difficult. Like, say for example, mowing. Okay, there's some people where they'll go ahead and they'll mow entire neighborhoods, like Senior Plus or something. They're gonna say they only have to deal with one person for billing. They're say there's 500 properties. There's one person that's all they're dealing with billing. Which one do you think is more profitable? Doing that at a lower cost per square foot of mowing, or doing low ticket, but you have to bill 500 people every single 2 weeks? It's obviously going to be the other one. It's going to be doing the neighborhood. You deal with less people. It's easier to deal with. You have to hire less overhead. Everything is so much simpler whenever you're dealing with that. Now, another downside to low ticket is that you're dealing with, like, for construction stuff, this is going to be smaller equipment. Now, a lot of people, like, they like the equipment, and you're going to be dealing with smaller stuff. Now, here we're going to be dealing with big equipment typically, especially if you're doing like excavation stuff. We got $1 million freaking excavators and stuff. Like, this is exciting. This is exciting to do. And yeah, it is. But whenever you mess up, there's big mess ups. So you have big losses as well. Yeah, big toys and big losses on here. Now, this one, you're going to have typically smaller losses. There's not going to be really any big losses ever because of how small the ticket you're dealing with. You should deal with more of it. So here's a few of your low ticket versus high ticket. Now, the next thing, now we're going to go to benefits for each of these. And the benefits is where we are going to talk about this. So this kind of goes into here. This one kind of goes into benefits, and yeah, all of these kind of go to benefits. But for low ticket, you're obviously going to have typically more monthly reoccurring revenue. So you're not starting from zero every month. You can start stacking revenue on top of each other instead of just beginning at zero. Now, like, say you're doing pressure washing and you don't have a reoccurring option. Now, you're just kind of dumb, honestly. Like, it's the worst business to ever be in. We're going to go charge $500, $1,200 to do a thing, and then we're just never going to talk to them again. We have no automation sequences built out to go ahead and reach out to try to get those people to buy more stuff. Now, honestly, we're running a charity in my books, honestly, especially if you're running paid ads. Now, with high ticket, you're not going to typically have that reoccurring revenue. There's no reoccurring. The reoccurring is whenever people go ahead and buy more stuff from you because they liked you. So you actually have to provide good service, and they have to come back because they like you. You have to give them a reason. You have to provide enough different services to be able to have them come back and keep buying from you. That's going to typically be one of your problems with high ticket. And I kind of went over, these are going to be your main reasons. I didn't put these in the right category, but these are going to be your main reasons of going high ticket versus low ticket. Now, let me go into the details on the middle. And if you're over here, if you're in the middle, this is quite literally where you go to die. Now, let me give you an example. With any service you're doing, pressure washing, Christmas lights, everything, there's always a middle ground. There's always the poor people that will pay nothing, and then there's always the rich people that will pay you so much money for the exact same service. And you have to position yourself differently. You have to get in the right rooms. You have to get in different rooms. And what happens when you're in the middle is you're dealing with the high people and the low class people. And whenever you're doing this, these people are going to be a pain. They're going to be a pain. And you really have to be able, whenever you're doing low class, you got to be able to scale. Like, you have to be able to have hundreds of crews, or not hundreds, but like 10, 20 crews in a location doing this. And you have to be doing so many different properties if you want to be successful in low ticket. You have to sell so much volume. Now, with high ticket, it's a different game. You can sell a little bit and still make a lot of money. Now, whenever you're in the middle, you're balancing between the two. You're like, oh, I'm going to charge a little bit here. I'm going to charge not that much here. But whenever you're doing that, now you get the worst customers ever. It's the middle customers. It's the customers who think they're the high-end customer and they think they paid all the money, but they're really just the low-class people and they pay nothing. And when you're living in this category, it's where you go to die. This is what we've been in for like the last few years, this is what we've been dealing with in our Christmas light company, and it's why we haven't been truly able to scale. We haven't picked one. We haven't picked, are we going to go low ticket or are we going to go high ticket? We haven't made that decision. Well, we have now, but like previous years, we didn't make the decision, and that's why we couldn't scale year after year. It's because we were going in the middle. We were doing $100,000, $200,000 projects, but then we have $595 Christmas light jobs. Like, are we being serious? Like, what are we? It doesn't make any sense. If we just do the $100,000 stuff and specialize in that, we would make way more money, and that's what we're doing. But this, I'm telling you right now, I've experienced it. You do not want to be in the middle ground. This is where you go to die. I've said it so many times. If you are pricing on the more expensive tier for the poor people, that's basically who you're selling to. You're selling to the poor at a higher price, and they think they deserve high ticket stuff, and they don't deserve the high ticket because you can't provide that with the money you're charging. You can't deliver. They didn't pay enough to deliver, and then they're mad, and then it's just a whole entire bad situation you don't want to be in. So I hope this helps. I hope this gives you some more insights on being in low ticket versus high ticket or middle. Don't be in the middle. You can be in low ticket, you can make that successful. You can be in high ticket, you can make that successful. Either one works, but if you go to middle, that's where you die. And I hope you don't go there. And I hope this video helps you learn a little bit more on some insight on how this works.